Hey guys, how are you? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I have yet another movie review. This is an Australian horror film, English language, released in the year 2011, directed by Paul China, and this film is called Crawl. Now, Crawl is a story of betrayal and the consequences that can happen as a result of that. So you've got three characters: a very seedy bar owner, a Croatian hitman, and a young waitress. Now, this young waitress, on this particular day, this evening, she's convinced that her boyfriend is going to propose to her. So she wants a very romantic evening, and she's been planning out the day. Then you've got the seedy bar owner, who owns the bar that the waitress is working at, who wants to hire a Croatian hitman to take care of someone that owes him money. And then you've got the Croatian hitman who takes this hit and he does it successfully. He comes back for his money, and this is where a double crossing happens. Now, this double crossing results in the Croatian hitman seeking refuge inside this waitress's house, a very remote area, and he takes her hostage, and he's not going to let her go until he gets what he wants. So the waitress's night has gone from romantic to terrifying as she tries her best to try and come out of this in one piece and to escape the evil clutches of this Croatian. So what happens at that point on for all three characters is just a whirlwind of violence, and to prevent myself from giving away too much, that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. So please go out there and see this film for yourself if you want to know how it unfolds. Now, my thoughts on Crawl. This is a very interesting Australian horror film, and for the simple fact that it takes risks, I'm going to applaud that. Now, the problem with the movie is that it's good, but it's nothing great. It's not a movie that's going to blow your mind. It's not a movie that's going to say, yeah, Australian horror films are really good. It's a movie that's good, but unfortunately I didn't like it as much as I wanted to like it. Now, to start off with, it does pay tribute to giallo films. It pays tribute to the suspenseful films such as Alfred Hitchcock, Roman Polanski. So it is a movie that pays a lot of respect. And I can applaud that also, is that Paul China feels like a director who is a fan of these guys, and he wants to pay tribute to it. It's very much a forgotten art as far as horror films are concerned. In these days, they just splash gore everywhere, and that's basically what it's, gore is the way to go. And instead of scaring an audience, you're just going to repulse an audience. And I actually felt that Crawl does its best to scare an audience. It does its best to creep under your skin. And that's also what I liked about it, is that it's very suspenseful, and it does have a lot of artistic value to it. Is in, you've got a scene where this person's looking out of a window, and you've got close-up of the window, you've got close-up of their eyes. And that's where I make the comparison with giallo films, that when someone's walking down a flight of stairs, you've got the close-up of their feet. And that was really good, but unfortunately that provided a problem as well, is that sometimes Paul China got over excited with that, is that it felt like he was being a little bit self-indulgent at times. Now, 10 seconds is enough to see someone walk down some stairs, to see someone look out a window, or to see someone, scared. But sometimes the scenes go on for way too long, and you feel to yourself, well, it's getting on the verge of being, very self-indulgent, pretentious, and it does become boring sometimes. So that is what halts the progression of the film. The continuity is good, but there are moments, there are little pockets in the film where it does get bogged down because the director is too focused on showing off his talent, showing off the fact that he is taking risks. So it's a self-aware film, but it's basically arrogant. And that's unfortunately what does halt the progression of the film, and that's the biggest criticism I have of it, is that he was taking these, experimental techniques, but he was just focusing on them way too long, and it does hurt the film because, yes, it does create suspense, but after a while you think to yourself, okay, just get on to something new. We want to see what's behind that door. We don't want to focus for 5 years on this particular scene. And that you say to yourself, come on, get it going, get it going. And if you're doing that in a film, that's bad, because you're not getting what the director wants you to get. And what the director wants in this film is you to feel scared, you to feel what the character is feeling. And that really close in, of her eye, of her legs, it does help you to get into the mood. But then when it goes on too long, it starts to become a little bit irritating, and you start to think to yourself, well, this guy's showing off a bit. So that's the biggest problem with the film. And another problem I had of the movie was the fact that it was a little bit too simplistic for its own good. It felt like a movie that was a short movie. It felt like an episode of a TV show. It just didn't feel like it had enough depth, and it didn't have any substance, and it felt like a short movie. As I said, it just felt like it didn't go anywhere. This Croatian, this seedy bar owner, this waitress, it promises something that really doesn't deliver. And by the end of the film, you think to yourself, well, I watched a decent movie, but I didn't watch a great movie. I didn't watch a movie that realised its full potential, because it probably should have been a little bit better than it actually was. I will say the soundtrack was very good. I liked that. It was repetitive, but it actually worked to create the sense of menace, the sense of suspense. You're always wondering who's outside, and I think that there were moments of the film that captured it perfectly, but unfortunately there's a little bit of overkill in there that prevents it from getting its full effect, because you start to become impatient. So overall, I mean, it is a very unique film as far as Australian cinema is concerned. I can applaud that. I think Paul China will go on to bigger and better things. But as far as Crawl itself, I thought, yes, it had a lot of promise, but it doesn't deliver on a lot of that promise, unfortunately. But it is a movie I'd still say check out, especially if you're a fan of Giallo and Alfred Hitchcock / Roman Polanski films. So overall, for Crawl, I'm going to give it 3 stars. 3 stars because there are some scenes that really work, but unfortunately there was just a lot of potential that was not utilised. Alright guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.